Welcome back to my channel, you guys. So for today's video, I've got an incredible announcement to say. Some of you already know this if you're like family and friends and stuff, but I haven't really announced anything on my channel formally, and I feel like I should because I've been kind of absent and I've been alluding that there's something going on, but I didn't want to say. The news is I'm pregnant. So yeah. Yeah, that's how I feel. So I'm just happy to announce it formally. So as I said, I've announced it to like my family and friends and things like on other forms of social media, but I haven't really said anything out loud on my YouTube because I feel like that would be, I don't know, like too real, you know? And I wanted to wait till a certain period of time because of course like the first 13 weeks are kind of your fragile period, I guess. I mean, I guess things are still kind of fragile because I'm only at 18 weeks, but I feel comfortable being like, we're having a baby. We're having a baby, you guys. Like, we have been literally wanting a kid for so long. Like, the fact that this year, just so many weird things are going on. Like, the fact that this year's our 20-year anniversary, our first kid. So we're a little late to the game, but I'm just happy it's happening. And we started trying about 3 years ago to have a kid. It was kind of informal, you know, like, all right, we're not using any forms of birth control, whatever happens happens. But like in my mind, I just thought it would happen. I guess that's really naive, but I'm just like, oh yeah, that's just what happens, you know, like you just don't use birth control once you get pregnant. Fooled me. So you know, after like 6 months ish or so, I had to go to the doctor, kind of figure out what's going on. And then I'm like, okay, well, this isn't right and this isn't right. So it's really hard to track things based on like me being irregular and having weird hormonal issues. So on and off, we were kind of working on the hormonal issues and getting things straightened out, right? Just like kind of loosely, casually, but still trying. And then last year was like do or die. I was like, we've got to do this. We're getting too dang old, you know what I mean? Like, we got to do this if we're gonna do it. It's gonna happen, it's gonna happen. Like, we've got to hustle. We're running out of time, you know? I got a clock on me here. So last year we were very serious and like, we were like, we're gonna go to a specialist, we're gonna hit up all the places, we're gonna do all the things, whatever recommendations they have, we're gonna do it. So obviously it worked, but I'm lucky I didn't have to go to IVF route. I was really concerned about that because initially, I think I talked to you guys on my channel about how we had, you know, our first doctor wasn't really that kind of like listening to us and didn't take what we had to say, which I wanted to do everything as like natural and slow, but obviously get results as possible. So I feel like she was just kind of like IVF, IUI, IVF, and I'm like, calm down, like we just started here. Can we just get my hormones straightened out? Like maybe we'll have a chance, you know? So we found another doctor a little bit later down the road. First shot, got pregnant. So very first thing she recommended was just like, okay, we'll try Clomid, which is something that was never really brought up to me. I had only heard about it from other people that they had tried it, and I'm like, well, why weren't we offered that? Like, I mean, you know what I mean? Like, worst case scenario, why, you know, if they want to get it done fast, then why couldn't we have done Clomid and the trigger shot and all these things together versus just being like, do the trigger shot, and then if that doesn't work, then IUI. Like, it was automatically like that. So it didn't really make sense to me. And you can see for my past videos, I was like going through it because I was like, I don't know what to do. Like, I feel like she's not listening to me. I was like, you know what? I'm just gonna be brave and say, which is not good for me because I'm not a confrontational person. Okay, I'm just gonna this cannot happen anymore. Like, I can't go with this doctor anymore because she's not listening to me and what I really want. So I'm gonna look out for me and be like, no, this is not the path I want to be on, and put myself first and picked a different doctor. So that worked out great because when we had a conversation, it was very open. I said, I'm willing to do anything, but at the same time, IVF's not 100% successful. I don't want to throw all this money at getting pregnant that way if I haven't tried all these other things first? You know what I mean? Like, why jump to like the most invasive, most extreme option that's the most expensive unless you've tried other things and you know that that doesn't work for you? That's what I felt like. So we talked. She was like, one thing that's really crazy is kind of voodoo. And I'd heard this, but I didn't want to say anything because I was like, I don't want to be that person that was like, I was on TikTok and on TikTok they said this, because I don't want to be that person. But at the same time, I was kind of like, oh, really? So one of the recommendations, other than taking Clomid and doing a trigger shot, was that you could try Mucinex, which she was like, it's kind of voodoo, kind of weird. There's not a lot of studies about it, but somehow people, it works for them. So if you want to do it, you can. It doesn't hurt anything. And I'm like, I mean, what's the harm? At this point, I'm just gonna be on a decongestant. You know what I mean? So I purchased a decongestant. I was like, all right, good. I already took all the vitamins. I was like pre-prepping myself. I was gonna take tons of CoQ10. Those are things I'd already kind of done on my own, because just from reading about infertility and trying to help myself out. So I'd already done all these things. And I'm like, okay, great. We're gonna do all the things. And then again, I was on TikTok. So thanks TikTok for some good ideas. But they had also talked about Pre-Seed, I believe that's what it's called. It's basically sorry, this is getting really dark, but or like really intimate, but like a lubricant that's supposed to help you get pregnant. So I was like, whatever it is, just throw it all on here. We're just gonna do all the things, and if it doesn't work, then I don't know, we'll do something else. But you know, at least it's worth a try. We'll just throw all these things in the mix. So I can honestly tell you, I don't know what's the most successful thing we did. I mean, Clomid and the trigger shot I would think would be the most successful things. I don't know if the other things really added to this. I don't know, but whatever it is, it worked. So in February, I had tested initially, like you can test on this day, right? That was like your starting day. So I tested and it was negative. So I was like, oh my gosh, we did all that and like nothing, you know? I was getting really frustrated and disappointed, but I was like, okay, well, maybe I tested too early. I don't know. I'm just gonna test one more time just to see. I'm gonna wait a few days, maybe be patient, even though that's really hard for me. And I just tested as soon as I possibly could. So I'm like, okay, I'm just gonna wait, you know? So I waited a few more days, not even a week, like maybe 3 or 4 days. And then I tested again and it was positive this time, but it was really light. So something, I guess, I don't know, like, because I've never been pregnant, is like it's super light in the beginning. And I was thinking like, well, is that like a fake one? Because like it's so light, is it even really is like a false positive? Like that's what I thought. I was like, because I already tested negative once, so it must be a false positive. So I'm like showing my husband, I was like, what does this look like to you? Does this look positive to you? Because it looks positive to me and I'm not 100% sure. Like I feel like when you see people talk about it, like, look, I'm pregnant, it's like so obvious that they're pregnant. So I'm like, what the heck? Like, it doesn't even look like it's really that positive. Like, if you can compare it to the control line, you know? So I'm like, okay, it's probably still negative. Like, I'm just 100% sure it's already negative, but maybe just got like a botched test, because I bought a bunch of them in bulk. So I was like, it could just be like a messed up one or something. So I was like, okay, well, I'm gonna test again like tomorrow, just for curiosity's sake. So I tested the next day and then I was like, okay, it came back positive again and it looks slightly darker. So then I'm like, is it? Like, it looks like it could be positive. So I'm like, and my husband's like, it looks darker than yesterday if you can, because I took a picture of both so I could do a comparison. I was like, it looks a little bit darker. I don't know, like, could we be pregnant? Like, I've never been pregnant this whole entire time. Like, so is it? Is it? And then of course I'm like on TikTok. Of course I'm on TikTok a lot, so like don't use that against me. But I was like, well, is this supposed to be really dark? Like, what do people say about this? You know, and like trying to Google it, like, what the heck? Like, could it be super light like that? Like, and then I'm like looking through it, and people are like, well, yeah, it could be. And then I was, of course, like freaking myself out too, because they were like, well, what if you have a chemical only pregnancy and then you have like the hormone increase for a pregnancy, but you don't actually get pregnant, like nothing attaches and you don't end up having a baby. So I was like, oh my God, what if that's it? So then I was like stressing myself out about that. So for days and days, I like just kept taking the test over and over again, occasionally take it. And I'm like, it's getting darker. Cause they would say like, it would be right, it would like positive, and then it would like fade out and be negative again. So that's how they knew that like they just never really got officially pregnant. So then of course I'm panicking. I'm like, oh my God, that's probably what's happening. It's because I was negative to start. So like it couldn't be like positive later. I don't know. So just because I'm a paranoid person, I like tested like probably 5 more times, and it kept getting darker. And I'm like, oh my God, I think we're pregnant. I think I'm pregnant. Like, I think this is a real life situation. This is not a drill. Like, this is happening. Like, so it's like freaking out so bad. Like, oh my God, oh my God, oh my God. So after that, I'm like, okay, well, let's contact the doctor and let them know that this is the situation. Because otherwise, if I'm not pregnant, then we would need to start the process again. You know, you have to start Clomid a certain amount of times before your period and that whole thing. So I'm like, okay. I was like, I haven't got my period either. Okay. So I like call the doctor, let them know, okay, you need to go in, get a blood test. So I go in, get a blood test. It comes back, they're like, you're pregnant. I'm like, are you serious? Like, I still didn't even believe it. Like, what the heck? Like, are you sure? Like, because I've never been pregnant this whole time. Like, are you sure? So the blood test kind of like confirmed in my mind, but at the same time it was like still not really that real. I still feel like it's really not that real because I don't feel like I have a lot of normal pregnancy symptoms. So I feel like in my mind I'm like, it's just so weird because I feel like I would feel different, but I don't feel drastically different. So that's why I'm like, am I pregnant? Are they lying to me? But you know, like as you get to week 18, you're like, I guess I'm pregnant. Like it's not fake anymore. It's really happening. This is again, not a drill. So, anyways, we confirmed with another blood test and we went in for an ultrasound, and then we went in for an ultrasound and I was like, that's like a dot. There's a dot there. Like there wasn't a dot before because it was 6 weeks. So I'll put that on the screen because it's like, I don't know what I'm looking at exactly, but there looks like there's a dot on the screen. I don't believe that dot was there before. So they're like, that's a baby. And I'm like, what? This is so crazy. So, and it's kind of funny because my husband initially was like, oh, I don't know if I'm gonna go because they're just basically confirming the pregnancy with the ultrasound. It's probably not gonna like be visible. There'll be nothing there to look at. So he was like initially not gonna go in, and I was like, you should go in. You're gonna be so like, what if there's more to see, and like what if it's really cool and you missed that, and then you're gonna feel really bad that like you didn't see your baby's first ultrasound, you know. So I kind of like manipulated him into going. But good thing I did because he was like so happy he went. And I mean, who wouldn't be? But anyway, so we went, and then of course they like played the baby's heartbeat, and it was really cute because he was like, oh my God, my baby has like a really strong heartbeat. That's a really strong heartbeat. He just kept saying that. I was like, yeah, like you're right. And he was like, oh my God, it's a really, really strong heartbeat. So he was just like super excited. He just kept saying that over and over again. And he's like, that's my baby. That's my baby. And I was like, I know. So anyway, even though in the ultrasound it was like pretty much not much to see, it was just like a dot. So but yeah, so that was super exciting. Sorry, I'm emotional. I'm an emotional person now, which is awful. I hate being emotional. So it's like, seriously? So out of all the pregnancy symptoms, of course that would be the one I would get, that I like, the one I hate the most. So anyway, so yeah, then we had like another ultrasound, and then we got to see the baby again. And I was like, oh my God, the baby's getting so big. And then I'll play you some clips on there too.
You can see little arms are developing. Those are little legs, so it looks beautiful. Let me get a heartbeat real fast.
You can see like in the video, I'm just like, what the heck? The baby's so much bigger. Like it didn't seem like, I guess in my mind it wouldn't be that much bigger. I was just like, oh, it's just gonna be a bigger dot. You know, like it's gonna be more of a dot this time. And I was like, it looks like it could be, it's looking like a baby now. Like it's looking like a tiny baby. So anyway, of course I did all the things. I've got like the app to tell me every week what's happening and how big my baby is, because I'm that person. And I have to read about exactly what has happened with my baby in the last week. But I love it. it's very exciting. So what else? Oh yeah, so we're up to next week. We're gonna do a ultrasound at the like 18 and a half week mark, which is normally the one where you would do like a 20-week scan, but I get to do it early, which is probably not a good thing. It's probably, I mean, it sounds like because I have more high risk, you know, like I'm older, complications, things like that. So I get to go in earlier to have the test done, but it'll be the anatomy scan, and they'll basically like measure the baby and make sure everything's normal. So far, everything's been normal. The genetic testing came back normal. You'll see in the next video what the gender is, because we were able to find that out from the genetic testing. So it's just so exciting. Like, I don't know. And then I had all these thoughts too. The only pregnancy symptoms I've really had, honestly, would just be being really tired, like extremely tired, to the point where I was like, is my iron okay? Because I've had low iron in the past, and I was like, well, maybe because I'm pregnant now, like it was already kind of low and then it just got lower. Like that's what I thought. But apparently my iron's fine. So I was like, okay, no, it's just straight up being pregnant it made me super exhausted. I'm like, I haven't even had the baby yet. I'm already like worn the heck out. But so I've just been sleeping a lot lately. Another reason you guys haven't had content, because I'm just like, I'm constantly asleep or at work. I want to be asleep constantly. I have like things I want to get done, but then I spend so much time asleep that I'm like, okay, I've slept until time to go to bed. Now time to go to bed and go to sleep some more. So yeah, that's usually my night, is sleeping. So that's kind of annoying, but here we are. As too with my channel, I'm like, I feel like I'm baby crazy right now. Like now I get what people, I mean, I guess I was kind of always like cat crazy and stuff like that before. Like, so I get a little bit of that parenting vibe, but now I'm like, oh my God, I need things for the baby and I need to do this. And like, I'm trying to get all the things done and all the, like, there's just a lot to think about, you know? Like, we have to name the baby. We have to like have a place for the baby to live, you know? Like we have to, so I've like been working on the nursery. So that'll be a video to come, like you guys seeing the progress of the nursery. Like I want to do like a room tour once it's all like done. Right now it's kind of like in shambles. Like things are coming together. We've been working on that a lot and I'm like really happy with the progress, but it's just not all done yet. So like my crib's not even coming in until July. So it's gonna be a minute before the official tour, but it's just like a lot of those little things that you have to do. Like I was like, does nesting even start right now, or am I just nutty and I just like home decor, so I'm like starting way early? I don't know. And then you know, I've just been buying things here and there, like, okay, I need this, I need that, and like get all these expensive things kind of out of the way. You know, like such as furniture, things like that, moving stuff out of that room because it was a guest bedroom and turning it into a nursery room officially. So a lot of those type of activities have been going on behind the scenes. And then on top of that, I had these thoughts like, well, what am I going to do with my channel now? Because like when I have a baby, I'm going to be baby crazy and like obsessed with my baby, and that's going to be taking up a lot of my time. And I'm like, I don't want this channel to turn into like an exclusively baby channel, but unless you guys are cool with that. But you know, I didn't want to like go from being like all this, but then again, my channel is like such a hodgepodge of things that, I mean, I guess it would go along with the territory, but it would just be a baby channel, but I don't know. We'll see how things go. Hopefully I can keep it kind of like how it is now, where it's just like I just do a video about whatever I feel like, because I'm not getting paid to do this anyway, it's just for fun. But I mean, honestly, I just want to keep you guys up to date, because like, you know, this has been on my vision board for years and I've been talking about it and talking about it, and like every year I'm like, well, I didn't have a baby this year, and like it's just been really depressing, you know. So this year should be the year. So October 30th. Talk about crazy. One of my favorite holidays is Halloween. Like, absolutely love Halloween so much. And the fact that our kid could be born on or near Halloween is insane to me. I'm like how perfect, honestly. And the only thing I'd ever said is like I didn't want to have a kid in April. That was like my only rule, is I did not want to have a kid in April, because I feel like our family has so many April birthdays that I'm like, I didn't want to throw a kid into the mix of all that. But I'm like, October, like there's not a ton of October birthdays. Perfect timing, especially at the end of October. So I'm like, perfect time to be born. update because I'm like, you guys haven't seen me in a while, you don't know what's going on. I'm just over here like doing stuff and just being nutty, being emotional and sleepy. Those are my primary states of being right now, emotional and sleepy. Mostly sleepy. The emotional stuff's just come recently. I don't know if that's a second trimester gig, but super annoying. Like the fact that I just threw a big tantrum the other day about, well, I was hangry, okay, like just let me tell you, but just threw a tantrum about not getting into a birthing class in time. Yeah, so there's that, or, you know, just being around. And then my husband on our date night was like, we should go see Top Gun. And I'm like, yeah, whatever. Like, that's so cool because we saw that movie so long ago and like, it'll be great to see the second part. And then of course, like, I don't want to spoil anything for you guys, but there was a lot of emotional stuff at the end. Like I was on a roller coaster, you guys. Like I was like crying and then I would stop crying and then I would cry and then I would stop crying and then stop crying. I was like, I can't take all this. My tear ducts are like upset. Like they just, I don't know when to cry, when not to cry. There's just so much emotional stuff going on right now. And it was like, I can't handle this. You can't take a pregnant person to an emotional movie. Like it's just not like this. I mean, it was like up and down so much. It was just like the last part too. So I was like crying, not crying, crying, not crying. And then of course I hate crying in public. So it was super embarrassing. I was like, oh my God, thank God I grabbed some freaking napkins from concession because I'm over here like, I'm fine. So I'm like, please don't cry in the theater. So yeah, so that was fun. And my husband was like, oh my God, you're crying. That's cute. It's not cute. It's not cute. I don't like it. I don't like crying in general, and I feel like the fact that now I want to cry a lot is very upsetting. And I'm not even sad about anything. It's just something stupid pops up and I'm like, oh. This is so annoying. Like even now, the fact that my eyes are watering, I'm just telling you guys a story that's not even sad. Like, I don't know if it's because my eyes are like legitimately just watering, or am I like freaking tearing up because I'm just being alive right now. I don't know, like it's just wacky, but the baby's doing good. That's the update. It's spring. I'm pregnant, very excited, and we'll see how the channel goes. I don't know, are we gonna be a baby channel? I don't know. We're not trying to turn into a family vlog, but I mean, I don't know, is this how it happens to people? Like they start out doing makeup stuff and other random crap, and then next thing you know, they're like, I had a kid, so now it's a family vlog. I don't know, I'm not planning that, but then again, I feel like I'm not that person that would be obsessed with my kid and be talking about them all the time, and I don't even want to do that now. Like now I'm like, okay, I'm pregnant, but like don't bring it up all the time because that's annoying. But at the same time, I'm like, but I'm pregnant, let me tell you about it. Next video will be the gender reveal, so stay tuned. And then we'll go from there. But I just miss being on here, you guys, and hopefully there will be more content to come. Hopefully I won't sleep through the next few months and I can actually get something accomplished. But yeah, thanks for watching. Bye.